This podcast is brought to you by lineupmedia.fm.
All right, listeners, check it out. The time is now to get on board with sports betting. That's right. BetDSI is on board with American Animals. Make sure you go to their website, use the promo code Animals10, and not only will they match your initial deposit, they'll give you an extra $10 to bet on any kind of sports, MMA. You can even bet on who's going to win the presidential election this year. You got to love it. Tell you what, they have great customer service. It's easy to use, fast payments when you win, and again, 100% bonus on your initial deposit. It doesn't get any better than that. You know, I always love to play with Vegas Dave, the very famous sports handicapper who picked the last couple Super Bowls and World Series winners ahead of time. So I'm going to be on BetDSI myself. So make sure you check it out again. Go to BetDSI, use the promo code Animals10.
You know what they say about one bad apple? Well, we've got two. It's American Animals. All your favorite athletes, entertainers, and weirdos are coming to you like you've never heard them before. Join Erik, Bad Apple, and Ian, Uncle Creepy McCall every Wednesday on Hot Button from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific. American Animals on Hot Button. Get some.
Hey, American Animals with Erik Apple and Ian McCall.
What up?
Coming from Dash Radio
Hollywood,
Studios.
California.
And we're also now on the LMG Podcast Network. So remember, if you don't catch our show live on Dash Radio, you can always circle around later on and find us on the LMG Podcast Network and on our website, which we now have up and running.
To AmericanAnimals.com.
Rar. Can we have dot rar?
.rar.
I wonder if they could have
Or
that.
.gur.
I mean, Ashley has her website as .rare.
Rare?
Or dot global. Yeah, .global. They're making up all these new dots. You don't have to
can you make
.net,
can you make
.com,
it your own
.gov, .biz. Yeah, you should make it. Can you make it any dot?
.dick?
Yeah. It's the first thing you would do. The second thing would have been .butthole.
Duh.
It always gets the anal with you.
Oh, it's only me, right?
Yeah, I don't like anything to do with the butt. I don't know what you're talking about. So, man, what an eventful week in the life of Uncle Creepy.
It just makes sense. It's the kind of shit that happens in my life.
So we go to Atlanta. We've been talking about this since the beginning. First time we had our show.
Really?
We have weeks and weeks of talking about you getting ready for a fight, prepping for a fight, making weight, all this stuff. And then this scumbag, Justin Scoggins. Is it Justin?
His name is Justin
And
Scoggins.
he cuts a couple pounds and fucking quits.
Yes.
And I know you want to be sort of nice, but I don't care. The guy's a fucking dick.
You can say whatever you want. That's fine. I took the high road, but what happened was he's a giant 25er, which if you can say that. But I mean, comparatively to other people who fight at 125 pounds, he's massive. Okay. And when I first saw him.
Bigger than Lineker?
Yes. Or a lot taller. The guy's like 5'8". And I'm
for your weight class, that's like fucking
that's
cream.
tall. And he, I got played. He was very buddy with me. Oh, I look up to you, and I followed your career for this long. And we're like, oh, we're cool. We're kind of being friendly, and had his little girlfriend out there with him, and they were both nice, and he's always liking my pictures and stuff. And then I realized this motherfucker's playing me the whole time. He didn't want to fight it. Well, he knew he's not going to make 125, so he wanted a catch weight. And then he has the audacity after everything to start talking shit to me.
Talk shit and say like, oh, you're a bitch.
He goes, well, I can't make 125, so why don't we just figure out a weight we're both comfortable with, and then we'll fight there. I said, how about the weight we signed the contract to fight at fucking 3 months ago? 126 pounds. That's what we fight at, and you can't make that, so go fuck yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Like, and I tried to explain to Ashley that people who don't fight, they don't really think it's that big of a deal. But as a fighter, everyone in the fight business knows it's a big deal. And if you miss weight, you fuck it up for everyone. You fuck it up for your team, your opponent, his team. You fuck it up for the promoters. Like, you're fucking it up for everybody, and you're a fucking scumbag. And it's one thing if you miss by a pound or half a pound.
It's your job.
But 7.5 pounds, like, bro.
Yeah.
Especially when you guys are the lightest weight class there is. Yes. It just makes it that much more of a big deal. Like, it's ridiculous.
And I had the easiest weight cut probably of my career, or since being in UFC. So I'm fine. I'm doing great. And they said, listen, can you make weight just in case, because there's 2 other flyweight bouts on the card.
Yep.
Can you make weight just in case someone slips, falls, and hits their head in the bathtub or something? So I made.
Pulls with Kevin Randleman?
Yes, I made weight, and I knew that everyone makes this big fuss about, oh, you better get paid. You better get paid. Well, I know I'm getting paid. But they said, okay, make the weight just in case, which is my job. So I made the weight, no problem. Then I as I'm going to weigh-ins, because you weigh in, now they have early weigh-ins at 10 in the morning. So you get to weigh in privately, and then you can rehydrate and eat. And then they have the big show, the whole charade at a venue where you have the weigh-ins, everyone faces off and talks to the media. Well, they asked me to go, and I said, of course. Well, as I get there, I find out that not only am I getting paid my show money, but I'm getting paid my win money, which is more than I asked for. I wanted it, but I didn't know it was going to happen. Then on my way to the fights, Dana White texts me and says, "Hey, bud, got you your Reebok money." And I went,
was that 5K?
Yeah. I went, goddamn, I love you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've put in some good performances before. You're the last person to have DJ in trouble. So obviously they want to, they like you. They want to keep you in your good graces. It's not like the relationship that I have with Dana, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I've really gone out of my way lately to be a company man. To not talk a bunch of shit like on Justin and make a big scene. I took the high road, because realistically, I want an analyst job. I want a life after fighting with the company, or with Fox at least. And I'm really just trying to show, because I'm, like Justin said, he looks up to me. These kids look up to me. I need to be a good
I wonder if he
model.
really does, or he knew he wasn't going to make it, and he was just saying that, trying to think like, oh, that you'll feel sorry for him, and you'll just give him a catchway bout.
He had the audacity to go up to my nutritionist, who I travel with, and be like, I'm really stoked to be like, like talking to you guys, and it's an honor and all this stuff, and it was buttering us up, of course. Just complete bullshit. But whatever. He's a young dumb kid, and hearing his
I mean, he got paid nothing, so he's suffering.
and he got sent home early. But hearing his
What do you mean he got sent? Like they told him get beat it?
yeah, get the fuck out of here. No, you can't go to the fights. You gotta go home. So, and the thing is I found out a day before weigh-ins, like 24 hours before, I got the text message and saying, "Hey, fight's not gonna happen." And I said, well, shit."
Yeah.
So he stopped cutting weight 24 hours before and was still 7.5 over, and then goes out and eats food and rehydrating. I mean, I had so many people, fighters, trainers, coaches, strength coaches, motherfucking that guy, this, that. I saw him in this place eating. I saw him this place eating. I saw him this place drinking. Fuck that guy. And I was like, okay, well, I you guys are doing it for me. And he made himself look like a dick, so I don't really have to.
Yeah. Definitely not a good look.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they might shelf him for a while.
They should. That's his third time screwing up.
Oh, he's missed weight multiple times?
He missed weight in Australia, and then there was another hiccup somewhere along the lines.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he gets injured a lot. So it's like you're proving that you're a great young talent. He is very good.
Sean Shelby's going to give him a little timeout, I'm pretty sure.
I guarantee.
You're sitting right over here and think about that, little buddy.
Face the wall and don't fucking look at me.
What a dick.
Yeah.
So, well, it all worked out.
Yeah, I got paid, and now I'm going to fight again soon.
You got paid as if you beat ass.
Exactly, and I all I had to do was make weight.
So now you're in shape.
I'm in very good shape.
We're looking to maybe get you another fight in another month.
Yes, I've gotten calls, or we finalized a deal. I can't really say who it is yet, but we have a fight. It's not going to be at UFC 202.
Oh no!
But I took a firm stance and said, no, I need 202. But realistically, it's in 3 weeks. How many people want to fight me? Which I don't mean to sound
on 3 weeks' notice.
I don't mean to sound cocky, but yeah, fight one of the best guys on the planet on 3 weeks' notice. It's a task. So we're gonna get moved to a later event, and it's gonna be soon.
So I mean, you haven't even told me yet. I'm kind of sad.
Okay, well, you know what? By the time this airs, it'll get out.
Did this air? Wait, hold on. So we still have a week from today. We have Kristen Rantanarian.
Yes.
And then this show. So we have 2 weeks.
Okay, so I'm fighting Ray Borg at 203 in Cleveland. Ray Borg is the last guy that Justin Scoggins fought, and Justin Scoggins beat the shit out of him. And so this is what it was. They were put against each other as the two top young up-and-coming blue-chip prospects. Well, Borg was doing better than Scoggins was, and Scoggins came out and fucking torched him.
Huh.
So that's who I'm fighting.
Did he finish him?
No.
Huh.
But I will.
And what, Jim? And what? That's 203.
Yes, 203 in Cleveland. Stipe Miocic versus
Uberim.
He's not very Uberim anymore. Have you seen him?
He's been looking good, man.
No. Have you seen how how his
skinny
body?
he is.
He looks like he divided into like a cell.
Yeah, no mas bomba. You know,
Yeah,
you can't fucking.
He is definitely an USADA victim. Jesus, he looks like he went from the USADA camp to the concentration camp.
But see, I think he looks better when he's lighter because he's more fluid. He's not all rigid, and he's looking good, man. There was a time where he looked shitty because everyone knew he was on fucking steroids, and they were drug testing him a lot. But now, maybe his body's caught up, and he's looking great.
Well, yeah, he's fighting good for sure.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's the thing everyone complains about. I mean, we can talk about steroids all day, but I mean, they don't make you like a better fighter, really.
No,
As a matter of fact, I think I would venture to say they make it worse more than they make it better because you gas faster and you're slower and you're heavier.
Exactly.
And you also have trouble making weight.
And what it does is it strengthens the muscles so much that your tendons don't get strengthened. Steroids do nothing for your tendons,
Yeah.
so a lot of injuries happen because your muscles get so strong and so dense,
Yeah,
and
they
then all
rip
of a
them
sudden
off.
you're popping shit off, and that's not good.
Can't be popping shit off. Pop some shit
Can't
off.
be tearing your fucking body parts. It sucks. Believe me, I know. It hurts.
Okay, well, I think we're ready to hear a song, and we're gonna let Ian's picking our first song of the night here on American Animals. Remember, check us out online: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. It's at 2 American Animals.
Our new
also
website.
the website at www.2americananimals. This is Erik Apple from American Animals, and if you're a real MMA fan, you know all about the UG. That's the Underground and mixedmartialarts.com. I'm on there every day, and so should you be. I'll tell you what, they do a podcast on Lineup Media FM every week, and it's hands down one of the best MMA podcasts out there. They get huge guests, and they do an incredible job getting access to every part of the sport. Check out the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and ugpodcast.com. Hi.
Hi, buddy.
Okay,
I missed you. I was in Atlanta for a week, and I didn't get to see your fucking face. I didn't get to smell your musk.
I miss your taste.
Oh my God.
So American Animals is ready to rock once again with our first guest of the night, and that is none other than Stephan Glickman. Stephan, thank you for coming and welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. You guys are awesome.
Anytime.
I'm a fan, so thanks for having me on.
Well, you're a fan because you got some Kicker Vapor
I
headphones.
did. I'm very excited about these Kicker Vapor headphones. The quality is really badass, man. It sounds great.
Yeah, so thanks to Kicker Audio, those guys out there in Oklahoma, for taking care of us and all of our guests. And we're going to try to get a set every week for our guests. So
Dude, that's so awesome.
we
That's
know
such a
how
good
this
move.
works. We have to bribe people.
Hell yeah. That's nice, though. It's nice. You show up, you walk away, you go, hey, I got some nice headphones.
Yeah, those are
feeling good.
Those are like $100 headphones right there.
Hell yeah. That's
At
wonderful.
least.
I could trade those for some crack.
No, you know what? On our, I host this live show at the Hollywood Improv, and we give away. Usually, we give away 200 Krispy Kreme donuts to the audience at the end of the night. We
200 to one person or to everybody?
Eating those.
I've eaten a few.
It happens.
15 to 20 per show. No. We hand them out to everybody. Everybody gets donuts because then everyone feels good. Everybody walks away going, I got a fucking donut
Exactly.
out of
Who
this.
is not happy after eating a fucking Krispy Kreme donut?
Yeah, it's so funny too because people like lose their shit over Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. This month we did 225 slices of Fresh Brothers pizza. We gave away 22 pizzas to the audience at the end of the night. Huge, giant pizzas. The whole audience fucking lost their minds.
Well, thanks for the invite, Dick.
Well, you got to come next time. You're welcome. Come next time to the show. We'll give you all the pizza you can eat.
Oh, the pizza and donuts.
Pizza and donuts and whiskey. It's a lot of that stuff.
I can do the whiskey, but the thing is, I can't eat that. I can't eat shitty food. I have anorexia.
Oh, you have anorexia. Well, look, you have to make your weight class, man. If you
Exactly.
don't, I heard
You have
that
anorexia
opening.
right now.
I do.
Yeah, that's I remember when I was doing this. I used to be on a kids show for a long time on this children's network, and they said that I had to stay in like at the weight that I was when they cast me on the show, and I was like easily 380 pounds.
You're like
I was like 370, 380.
Wait, they said you
When I got cast, right now I'm 310. like 315 at the
Wait.
most.
So they didn't want you to gain any or lose
No,
any?
they didn't
or
want me to
either?
lose any. They
were
just
just
were
trying
like,
to kill you.
They were like, we're fucking getting you these suits and this clothes, all this stuff. You're not gonna lose any weight because you're you'll fuck up the show.
Yo, how was working on Barty?
It was great. I was Barney. They just painted me purple.
I thought you were SpongeBob.
Yes, absolutely. But I wouldn't sign the contract with that in it, and I made them change it. And then between the
You should have had Ashley on your team.
Yeah, well, Ashley's terrific. I'm sure she's a great lawyer.
Should have had our resident contract attorney.
That was the way to do it. But we changed the contract, and I said that because I wouldn't sign it like that because I was like, what if I want to lose weight at some point? I'm fucking enormous. And then between the second and third season, I lost 110 pounds.
Well done.
In 1 year between seasons, and came back like a lot healthier. And then they had to throw all my clothes out. And
You
start
lost
from
over
scratch.
100 pounds?
Over 100 pounds.
You lost a Backstreet Boy.
I did. I lost a Backstreet
Oh,
Boy.
you almost lost Ian.
I was going to say.
It's a lot, man. It was a lot of weight.
I mean, I can get rid of 30 and put 30 back on for a fight, but 110 is just crazy. But I guess, I mean, would it be safe to say that when you're bigger, it's easier to lose more when you have more to lose?
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I mean, right now,
Because when you're down to 8% body fat, losing another 5 pounds is not easy.
No. It's definitely going from. I mean, I lost about 50 of that like within the first few months. Like, because I was going to the gym every day. Yeah. I was working with this guy Erik, the trainer, who's a big trainer out in the valley, and I was going and getting the shit kicked out of myself over there. And I just started going back to him this past week, and I'll be in with him for the next 3 months trying to drop weight.
What was your diet like?
Salads and chicken and fish. And that's and fruit and like a little bit of fruits and vegetables, mostly
I mean,
vegetables.
You were just eating
look,
clean.
it's not
Just eating clean. I mean, before him, you have to imagine I was eating like whatever the fuck I wanted
you
to
were
eat.
380 pounds.
Yeah,
so
like you can eat whatever you want when you're 380 pounds. But the problem is that like the reasons to lose weight when you're fat. What's the reasons, right? Try to get laid. Try to get ladies. But I was on a TV show.
And not die?
Well, yeah. But, when you're young and stupid, you're like, I'll be alive for a long time. I'll be a big fat guy for a long time, right? How many? There's lots of old fat guys, and you start counting them. You're like, there's like literally none. Like every fat guy's dead by like 40 something, 50, maybe. They hit 50. That's about it. So
if you're lucky.
yeah, if you're fucking lucky, seriously. So yeah, but I didn't have to worry about clothes because I was getting all this free clothes, and I was on a TV show, so I was getting laid all the time on the show. So I was on a show, so it's like you can be on any show and you'll get laid because of it.
Yeah,
so
it's Fallout pussy. Why not?
yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of single moms out there,
Exactly.
Well, thank God I'm on this show. Now I'll start getting some poontang.
There you go. Absolutely.
Finally, fuck.
You guys are out of control. All right. So tell us, I'm looking at your Wikipedia page.
Oh shit, dude! Don't look at that. I don't know what's on there.
It's always interesting to look at people's Wikipedia page, right? Like we have like porn stars on the show, and their Wikipedia page is funny. Athletes. I love your thing. You know what the first thing here says?
What?
Glickman was born in Ontario, and is a Jew.
There you go. Wow. Born in London, Ontario, and I'm a Jew.
That's what literally it says. That
pretty much wraps me up right there.
I'm just like, well, okay, like
that's what it says.
Yeah, look.
All right, I want to look at this. Hang on a second.
Glickman was born in Ontario, Canada, and is Jewish.
Oh my god!
Like just right out there.
Just, hey, this
so
is me.
weird.
So now, can I ask you a bunch of weird like Illuminati cabal questions?
Yeah, you ask me whatever you want, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you want to ask him, Ian?
I don't know any Illuminati questions.
Do you really think that we're all cows?
Who? People?
Yeah,
what?
Non-Jews.
No.
The Goyam.
No, I don't think that.
I'm just kidding.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Who thinks that?
The word Goyam is
Your
what
people.
Is what the Jewish word for non-Jews is. I think Goyam. And that
it's
means
like
cattle.
a bad word. It's like the bad word for non-Jews.
See,
but it's like
you have a bad word for non-Jews.
Well, you know
Racist?
what? There was at some point
you already insulted us.
Listen, at some point there was a reason for
you
that.
You could have lied and said, "Well, yeah, cattle's a great thing. We love cows. We worship them."
I don't think that's a real thing. Is that a real thing?
Yeah,
that's what it means. I don't know, man. Look, it's goy is like a Yiddish word, and Yiddish is like old Russian Jews, and Russian Jews had a lot of fear of people that were not Jews because they were
Gypsies?
fucking murdering them constantly.
Wait, what? Who was murdering?
What?
Who was murdering who?
Russians were murdering
Everyone was murdering Jews.
You know, back in the old
No.
days.
First of all, the communists who were murdering the people in Russia, they were Jews.
Yeah.
Communism was a Jewish thing.
I don't know.
95% of the original Russian communists were all Jews.
Is that a fact?
Lenin,
Lenin?
all those guys were Jews.
What?
Yeah, it's a fact.
Lenin from the war of the
original communist leader of Russia.
The original guy.
Yeah.
Was Jewish.
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
You want to Google it?
I'm a history freak.
Let's Google it.
Okay.
Was Lenin a Jew? Siri. Yo, bitch, wake up.
I'm in. Now I'm in for the interesting.
Here's a fucking history lesson. There we go.
Here we go. Let's figure this thing out.
Now, do you listen to hardcore history?
Are you Googling? Are we
Right here.
Googling? All right, here we go.
Recently,
Let's take a look.
Stagecoach is shedding some light along the origins of Soviet funding, Vladimir Lenin. Lenin's maternal grandmother was born Jewish.
Oh, Vladimir Lenin, part Jewish. Says declassified, but that's from the context time. Well, thank God for the internet because we know there's definitely.
Yeah. I mean, you're right.
You know,
that's what's so
it's
funny
definitely,
too.
It's definitely
That's
not
what I say
full
about
of lies and bullshit.
That's
all
what
the
I say
time.
about people who post stuff on like Facebook and they post like a link. I'm like,
Yes.
you can find a link nowadays that says anything.
The fucking
Yeah.
literally anything.
Absolutely no. I have no idea.
The best is our parents when they're like on the internet
Yes.
and they're like, oh, well, it's got to be real. No, Mom and Dad, fuck, it's just Jesus Christ, it's the Onion or something.
Sure. Look, I think a lot of people think Jews and Christians are very different, but I don't think that we're that different. We're just based off of different books. That's all it is. We're like Judaism's like Christianity is like the Back to the Future 2 to our original Back to the Future, which would make Scientology Back to the Future 3.
I was raised the worst. I was raised fucking Roman Catholic.
I think, hey, that's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole another set of problems.
I went to Israel a couple of years ago and it was crazy.
I hear it's awesome there.
It's really nuts, man. It's a hell of a place.
It's pretty heavy like all the way around. What do you I mean, it was a beautiful place until like the late 60s or middle 70s. But ever since then, it's fucking heavy, dude.
It's heavy. It's a heavy shit going on there.
It's literally a war zone.
At all times.
There's two groups of people who just fucking hate each other. And I mean, honestly, like I don't want to get in this whole conversation because it's like it's such a gnarly situation. It's like impolite to even bring it up. Like,
well, we don't have to bring it up. It's fine. We can skip over.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like such a shitty situation.
Yeah,
over
it's a rough situation for sure.
Pretty much like. No matter how you feel, if someone else doesn't agree with you, you're going to be opposite. You're not going to be close.
Yeah, no matter what.
Yeah.
Either you agree or you're going to be fucking way off.
I know. Look, man,
But it was a beautiful place.
Yeah, no, my favorite thing about going when I went is that I took a tour where I went down a flight of stairs and the like these old stairs, right? And then we got to the bottom of the stairs and the city that we were in was it was like 2,000 years old. Like it was underground, like a city that was underground that was like 2,000 years old. And when we down another flight of stairs from there, and we were in another city that was buried under that city because there's been cities buried over time.
All of Europe and the Middle East, just cities on top of. They just build on top of shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is super interesting.
They keep finding stuff lower and lower and lower. And it's wild some of the stuff they find.
Yeah,
really
like in Rome and stuff. There's people who like live on top of like legit. Like 2,000-year-old ruins, and they just cover it up and build their shit on top.
Yeah.
So like, if you just pull up their floorboard, there'll be like there'll literally be like caves underneath that like lead to like shit.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's like all the shit they just found out about all this stuff going on at the Coliseum. How they had fucking boat battles.
Yeah,
they had boat battles.
They fill it with water.
And they all this crazy shit going on, and Chuck Liddell's out there right now. One of my good friends, Joe Rogan.
Oh, he's great.
He just got back too, and then hearing them fucking talk about it, like, dude, all the new shit. Because I traveled Europe with Chuck and a few other people, and we got to go to the Coliseum, and he's like, they found out so much new shit since we went last time. You gotta go. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll be right there.
That's so fun, dude.
Yeah, so they had full on naval battles, and I think it was called Naumachia. Now Machio.
What? Wow.
Yeah, they had full on naval battles as well.
At the Coliseum.
Yeah, as well as man on man, as well as man on animal, and
they did a lot of man on man stuff back then.
yeah, lots of man on man shit. Here we go.
Man on man on board.
We always find our way
Yeah,
back
they
to
did a lot of man on man shit.
I mean, Nambla was definitely a big thing. You guys know what Nambla is?
Yes.
Of course.
God.
So
That's terrifying.
So,
You get a pervert and a comedian. Of course.
I know. Yes, absolutely.
well, what's to say you guys can't both be perverts and comedians?
Absolutely.
You don't have to be one of the other.
I'm just saying. I'm just,
So Stephen, let's focus on our guests.
Let's get on you now.
We always do this. We always just talk. We just kind of talk with our guests.
Hey, that's nothing
instead
wrong
of
with
asking
that.
questions.
No, that's
so,
fun.
So you came from Ontario, Canada, and did you start your stand-up career up there?
No, I started my stand-up career here in Los Angeles at the Canoga Park Bowling Alley, at a shitty bowling alley bar.
Isn't that how it's supposed to work?
Yeah, that's how it should work. Is you shouldn't. A lot of these comics, I'm telling you, man. I know a lot of comics right now who are like coming up and they're like, I gotta get on stage at the Comedy Store, and you're like, no, you fucking don't. You need to go to the Oyster House in Pasadena and perform.
Yeah.
Like you need to break your balls. I didn't perform on a real stage at a real club for like the first 5 years.
You gotta
I
eat
was
shit
just,
for a while.
You
That's
have
how it
to,
works, yeah.
or it's gonna be embarrassing. You're
Is
gonna embarrass yourself.
Is it weird to me that I look at like comedians and comics almost like it's like a cult? Like you guys are all kind of like your weird little deal, and you have to put in tons of work to be at all accepted. And you're the other comics are all standoffish, right?
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's very.
It's like
cult.
a weird.
No,
it is not, and I'm not knocking it at all, but
No,
it's just
no,
like a different group of dudes.
It is, and here's
And
the
girls.
The thing is too
They're
is that
very interesting.
like if you basically get to be friends with whoever you started with,
Yep.
or whoever's just below, like who just started right past you or right in front of you, but that's about it. Like that's the only people that you're really allowed to like be buddy with. And then every once in a while, you get a little like special, some weird situation. You get thrown into the mix with like Jeff Ross or like Jim Jeffries is a good friend, or Rogan, guys like this, where you end up working with them, and then they end up becoming friends with you, and that's amazing.
So you worked with Jeff Ross, one of your first big projects.
Yeah, I toured with Jeff for about a year to work with him on. He was working on this 1 hour Comedy Central special called No Offense, live from New Jersey.
Yep.
And
Is he from Jersey?
He is.
Oh,
so
He's
yeah.
so
That totally fits for him, by the way.
He's
the best at
unbelievable.
roasting. He's one of the best guys in the roast.
Oh yeah,
So
God,
good.
he's
is-
so funny.
Now this is gonna sound funny. Is Jeff Ross? Is he Jewish too?
Yeah.
What is it? Why are so many comedians Jewish?
Well, a lot.
Is it 'cause-
I think? Well, like
Because to be Jewish in America, you have to have a sense of humor. Is that kind of it?
I think
like people tease you, so you got to be funny and roll with it.
maybe a little bit of that, but I think a lot of it came from like the comics that were performing in like the Catskills, like the guys who started out, like those guys.
Yeah.
Like the old guys, that's a lot of that was like in the beginnings of stand-up comedy, a lot of them were Jewish guys. So
They still are now.
and now
What do you
they still
mean?
are now, but there's a lot. I mean, Rogan's not Jewish, but but Jeff Ross is Jewish.
If something like if something like 2 or 3% of Americans are Jewish, something like 20% of popular comedians, or like 30% of popular comedians are Jewish.
That's
least.
being
Sarah Silverman,
Silverman,
Kimmel, Seth Rogen.
Yeah. I think it's maybe it's
What's
just,
the blonde one? The one that pretends to be all slutty and stuff. Is she funny? She's really popular right now.
Eliza Schlesinger?
No,
But maybe. I don't know. She might be.
There's another one that's
Amy Schumer?
Amy Schumer.
I don't know if she's Jewish.
Yes,
Is
of course she is.
You know the thing is
Schumer?
though, is that
Schumer.
Schumer's
Come
kind
on.
of Jewish.
Kinda.
It's pretty Jewish.
She's pretty Jewish.
It's a little
She's
bit
super
Jewish.
Jewish.
She's pretty Jewish.
She's pretty
Don't
Jewish.
you have, is your Judar off?
No, my Judar's a little off.
You know what's weird is I have this weird thing where I can look at anyone and tell you exactly what race they are. And the first thing in Southern California, we have lots of Asians.
Sure.
And most of my friends can't tell the difference between Japanese, Chinese, Filipino, Thai, Vietnamese. And I can look at any Asian and tell you exactly what they are. And my friends think that's crazy.
That's fascinating.
I can look at someone and tell them like, oh, they're Turkish, or I don't know. I don't understand how it's so hard for other people.
Well, maybe you're just more of a people person, and you kind of know people.
When
You
you're-
kinda know
when you're
people.
around that
But I
much.
can't remember anybody's fucking name. I'm the worst with names.
Well,
But I know where they're from.
that's really funny. I think like maybe this is maybe I'm being a little over the top on this, but it feels like Jews, especially being around everyone in my family, all my aunts and uncles, cousins, everyone talks about all their horrible painful shit, but in a funny way.
Yeah.
So like
That's what I'm saying. Like
it's
kind
very,
of got to roll with it, have a good sense of humor.
like when I sit down and have family dinners with like aunts, uncles, cousins, stuff. It's just you go around the table and everyone has a funny story, but it's a horrible thing that happened to them. That's they have to tell it in a funny way, and
it's not that much different than everyone else.
yeah, no, it's not that much different from everyone else. I think it's just
You guys are just funnier, I
It's
guess.
encouraged. It's
Exactly.
encouraged a lot. So maybe that kind of breeds comics. I don't know.
I think it might.
I mean, it's obviously working. You people.
We should do you people. Ian McCall and Erik Apple are still hanging out with Stephan Glickman, the
Yes,
Jew
we
from
are.
Ontario. And I just read. Now listen, Ian, before we go, we're
Yes.
going to focus on Stephan.
Okay. Yes.
Okay? We have to stop talking about
Ourselves.
buttholes.
Buttholes. Okay.
So I also saw that.
Hey, we can talk about buttholes.
I also
man.
see that you were raised somewhat in Carlsbad, California.
Yeah, that's where I grew up. Grew up down in San Diego.
Where in Carlsbad?
La Costa, Carlsbad.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know that area? at
I
all?
do. I know it very well. I lived in Carlsbad for about 9 months.
I was
Get outta
there.
here.
We were there today. I was there this morning. That's where my girlfriend lives.
What?
Yeah.
Where in Carlsbad? Do you know where in the area?
Well, I mean,
Well, we'll talk about
right
it.
off of college.
God, that's so crazy.
Yeah, so
man.
I was living right off Tamarack by the beach.
That's literally blocks away from where I grew up.
Yeah, I know where La Costa is.
Yeah.
I
I
love
loved it down
Carlsbad.
there, man.
It's funny because I wasn't very excited to move there, and the area grew on me for sure. Plus, you're like 30 minutes or so from Orange County. You're 30 minutes from downtown San Diego, and I went out in downtown a lot.
Yeah, dude, San Diego is a gorgeous place to live. Like, it is a beautiful, easy place. And I grew up in the 80s, so I was like, my whole childhood is like 80s toys and Star Wars and shit. And, I loved it down there. It was a great place. And I go back down.
This whole arm Star Wars tattoos.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
fuck.
Oh,
Nerds.
shit, man.
Darth Vader.
Get ready for some nerd stuff,
the
man.
Falcon, TIE Fighter.
You just got
This-
super gay.
Wow.
This says dark side. It says dark.
Oh my God! What? Whoa!
Yeah.
I'm super impressed, man.
You guys,
I think we just
can't see,
became
but they
best
have
friends.
Did we just go best friends? Yep.
Yeah. I have.
Victor Ortiz, you're fired. We had another guest who, after he was like, we hung out, that we're like, we're all best friends now.
Oh my God!
We were
that's
pretty
so
stoned.
funny.
So-
I in my office at home, I have a enormous, massive 6 foot tall case of all my Star Wars 1980s action figures and ships and.
Do you want me?
battle stuff.
Do you want me to fuck up your whole night right now?
Yeah, fuck it up.
One of my best friends is Walt Disney's grandson,
What?
and I went to the premiere of the Force Awakens. I sat with George Lucas and
What?
and the cast.
That's amazing, man. I
I walked the red carpet at the Force Awakens.
That's outrageous, dude. That's amazing. That's fucking
like
huge
I had friends
shit.
who were like, I hate you. Like my friends were pissed.
That's amazing.
Um,
I met Lucas. I've only met him once, but I met him and we had a very weird conversation, and it did not go well.
did you creep him out?
I kind of did. I think he was like, I went, George Lucas.
He's kind of an awkward dude.
I'm Stephen Glickman. And he went, all right. And I went, Star Wars. I don't know. I just said something, Chewbacca, and it was just not good. It was over. He was not interested in talking to me anymore. I fucked up my relationship with Joe Rogan almost the same exact way. He wanted to hang out. We're not really like we're like friendly, but he asked me to be on his podcast. And then we hung out for a while, and I just was too fucking nerdy around him. I just said dumb shit. I was too nervous. I was too nervous to be around him, man. I was like, I was nerding out. And you know what? Some people, maybe it's just because I'm like a big, massive fucking fan physically, but also emotionally, just a big fan of his shit. And I've known his stuff my whole life. Yeah. Other guys like Mark Maron, like I'm friends with Maron, very cool. There's guys that you know for a long time. You see him around, you hang out. But Rogan, he's amazing. He's amazing.
He's a
and it's like being around him. I always get nervous every time I'm around him. I'm like, he's like, you just look so intimidating too. He's like,
He's barely taller than I
He's
am.
a sweetheart.
I know. But he
Well,
looks
yeah,
he looks intimidating.
He's little next to me.
Oh yes, he is.
Well, I'm sorry, Joe. You're not little thick wise. He's yoked.
He's thick as fuck,
he is
dude.
Jacked, and
He's a tough looking.
So and my buddy also, he has the life size 7 foot tall Han Solo and Carbonite.
What?
from Lucasfilm.
Holy shit!
You can buy that for like $2,500, $3,000. You can find it on online.
I have a Han Solo and Carbonite briefcase. How about that?
That's very cool.
That's kind of neat.
All right, that's not
All
Star
right,
Wars.
we're done. We're done.
So tell us about the tour you did with Jeff Ross. What was it like?
Well, look, I was playing a character in the tour. That was the deal. Is wherever we were from, I was a guy from there, and he'd call me out. I was like a ringer. He'd put me in the audience, and then during the show, he'd be roasting people, and he'd go, "Does anyone in the audience play the piano? Does anyone play the piano?" And I'd raise my hand. He'd go, "Get
You
on
said
up
I
here."
play the piano?
Yeah, he'd go, "Anyone play the piano?" So I'd come up on stage. He'd have a piano set up, and I'd play the piano, and then he would fucking roast me while I was playing. He'd do these poems, and I'd play the piano, and he'd fucking roast me, and then I'd roast him back. And he wrote all my stuff that I was saying, and we tried it out on the road a couple places. We tried it in Florida, and we tried it in Arizona.
Did it go over, or was it awkward?
Crushed every single time. Every single time. It was like magic. We were like magic together, because I'm a big fat guy, and he, and I looked ridiculous. I was wearing stupid clothes.
If you're
Because he's so good looking, right?
Well, yeah, but I had so much to make fun of. Like, he could just rip me apart head to toe, back and forth.
Well, we talked about this on a show before. You're not funny if you're good looking. It's like a scientific fact.
Yeah.
If you're good looking, no one thinks you're funny.
100% true.
No matter how funny you really are.
Yeah.
And we talked about this before. What's her name? Jenny McCarthy. When she first moved to Hollywood, she was supposed to be a comedian. She's really funny.
Yeah.
But nobody thought she was fucking funny.
Women aren't funny. Come on.
Buddy.
As we look at the girls. So it's a scientific fact that if you're good looking, you can't be that funny. That's why
That's why my girlfriend tells me to shut the fuck up and just stand there.
Well, I mean,
There you go.
like how many comedians have lost weight and then their career went in the tank and then
Dude,
fucking gained weight?
a lot.
Happens
man.
all the time.
Dude, I'm not kidding you. When I
hilarious.
dropped as much weight as I've ever dropped in my life, and I was down to 250 or so, 260. And that was the smallest I've ever been in my, since I'm 15
And did you
years old.
notice people did not react the same way?
Yeah, comedy was weird, man. It was weird. I got a tan. I got like a fake tan,
Oh, God.
and I
That's where you
dressed
went
nice. And I would go and do stand up, and I'd go perform, and I'd try to talk about going to the gym and shit. No one fucking wants to hear any
Isn't
of
it
that
funny?
stuff.
It just proves how the average American is a fucking hater.
Yeah, they just
Very
didn't
much
want
so.
it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to find that happy medium a little bit. Then I put weight back on, and then I was like, okay, now I got jokes about fucking Oreos and shit. I've got all sorts of great material from putting the weight back on, and then it's now you can fucking take it off again a little bit. Try to trim down.
But I used to train this guy named Ari Atari. He's a comedian, and I don't know how his career is going, but he explained that to me a decade ago. He's like, I was chubby, and then I got fit, and did some fucking juice, and got jacked, and then I wasn't funny anymore, and now he's fat and wears glasses, and it works again.
Yeah, it's tricky, man. It's tricky. Being in really good shape. That's why I'm always so impressed with Rogan, is because he's in super good shape and he's fucking hilarious. But there are very few.
Yeah.
It's like him, Anthony Jeselnik. That's about it. I don't
You know
know who
why?
else.
There's an
Even
exception
Jeselnik
every
is
rule.
mean though.
Because Joe is aggressive
Yeah.
and gets loud.
Yeah, he's not just a pretty boy. Yeah, that's different. If he was a pretty boy.
I don't know if I would describe him as a pretty boy.
No, but if he was
Yeah.
a pretty boy, there'd be a different fucking story, but I don't think he is.
So you did that. So you did that
Yeah, so
comedy
I
tour.
toured
And that was
with him.
one of your
Yeah.
first big.
Yeah,
big,
it was my first big thing. And then what was really cool is while we were on the tour, he was like, "Hey, guess what? We're gonna do a 1-hour special." And Comedy Central said that they'll fly you out and you can be on the special and we'll pay you and everything. And you'll be the last 15 minutes of my 1-hour special in New Jersey. So I had to fly with him to New Jersey. And I sit in the audience at the Borgata Casino in front of thousands of people. And I'm sitting in the audience in my outfit, mic'd up, knowing that I'm about to go up on stage. And I just had to sit there for 2 hours. Not at 2 hours. It was an hour of waiting
But you
to
had
go
already.
up on stage.
But it was the same material.
Yeah, same material, but you're oh my God, this is it was nerve wracking because
Yeah.
you can feel the heat in the room as the laughter, because he's killing and it's getting better and better and he's getting to the end, and then right near the end he's like, does anyone play the piano? And he calls a girl out of the audience first. She comes out, she plays the piano, he roasts her, sends her on her way, and he goes, anyone else? And
So
I
wait,
raise
was the girl a real fan?
She was real. Yeah.
wow.
And so then he brought me up, and then he fucking
Just killed
starts tearing me apart. And he does this one line where I'm playing the piano, like soft music, and he goes, "Have you ever been in love?" And I go, "Yes." And he goes, "What was his name?"
Yeah.
And I go, "Jeffrey Ross." And the whole fucking room like blows up, and we got a standing
was that
ovation.
ad-libbed?
No, he wrote it for me to say.
Okay.
But I just, I listened to him, like I was like, I didn't,
Yeah.
and he would, if I laughed too many times, he would like be like, no, it sounds fake. Don't fake it. Don't make it fake. So what was great was Sarah Silverman, who's a good friend of his.
Yeah.
She watched it. She had no idea that I was not real.
Oh, really?
She thought I was 100% real. And we were watching it at his house when it aired, and she was sitting in front of me, and she goes, "I can't believe you got that guy. Like, just what kind of
She didn't
luck?"
realize that you were sitting behind her?
No. And I was like, "I'm right here." And she was like, "Who the fuck are you? How this is happening?" Like, she was totally freaked
Why? Because
out.
was your outfit that crazy on the thing?
No, it was just that we didn't know each other, her and I, at the time. So it was, it was just easier.
Yeah.
I wasn't like I hadn't been on TV before. So that was like my first time being on TV.
And then since then you've been, I see you've been in a whole bunch of these kind of like takeoff flicks, a takeoff on the other movies.
Oh God, man! I did a bunch of parody movies at
Just
Fox,
like
and
slapstick, funny ones?
slapstick, shitty movies. I mean, they're shitty fucking movies.
Were they even in the theaters?
No, God, no. No way, man. Horrible movies that are like, I did a
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Not even on Netflix kind of movies.
No, God, I wish. No, I'm happy they're not on Netflix.
So, Ian,
They're
some of these titles are The 41-Year-Old Virgin Who Knocked Up Sarah Marshall and Felt Super Bad. 30 Nights of Paranormal Activity with the Devil Inside the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Let's see if there's any more.
Horrible movies.
Those sound great.
And you said, yes to
these movies were bought by Comedy Central and by MTV and aired constantly on MTV and Comedy Central. They still do. They still air it. I still get checks for doing these horrible movies.
Well, there you go.
Then you fucking won.
Then I win. I win in the end because they're horrendous.
Isn't it funny the way like residuals work? Like, I've had a million people try to explain it to me. I don't fucking get it.
Yeah.
It just comes when it comes randomly.
Yeah, it comes
'Cause
randomly.
I was originally told, you're going to go quarterly. And then sometimes I'd have 2 show up in a month, and then I wouldn't have any show up for 5 months. And then
I
just weird.
I did an Acura commercial about a year ago, and I've made more money off that fucking Acura commercial than I've ever made from stand-up ever in my life. Like, it is the most successful gig I've ever had.
Acura, sign me up.
Seriously. I mean, like,
How did you get that? How'd you get that gig?
This is not a joke. Here's how this went down. I went into an audition somewhere in Hollywood. I go in. They look at me. They go, "Can you go like this?" This is a radio, so you can't really see it. But I was like, "Can you scoop nachos? Pretend to scoop nachos." And I was like, "Sure, scoop nachos."
Go look at me. Fuck, of course I can.
Yeah, exactly. I
What,
love
you think I'm
nachos.
fucking retarded? Come on.
So I do like scoop nachos, and then they go, "Thanks so much, bye." And I go, "Okay, bye."
And you thought nothing of it?
Nothing of it. And then they call like 2 days later and they go, "All right, you got the part. You're going to be the nacho scooper at the Burning Man, in the Burning Man Acura commercial." And I was like, okay. And they're like, it's a starring role, so you'll get paid a little extra, and you're going to be, you get your own trailer and a bunch of other stuff. I was like, okay. Like, this
Did you get to go to Burning Man?
No, they made a fake Burning Man. The budget was like around $3 million for an Acura
They could have
commercial.
taken you to the real Burning Man for that much.
Oh yeah, they built a fake Burning Man in the desert with like all these people. They had 100 extras out there and all this stuff.
Jesus.
It was great. It was very fun.
Nice.
Go out, we shoot it. The first check comes. I'm like, oh my God, like completely freaked out, right? I call my agent on the phone, this commercial agent. I go, "Yo, why are you not sending me off this shit all the time? This is amazing, man. Like,
You're
kill
a
this.
fuck comedy.
Yeah, seriously, get me out for more commercials. I made so much fucking money off this commercial." She goes, "Stephan, there's a reason for that we don't send you out more." I go, "Why not?" She goes, well, 2 years ago, you called us when we sent you to Santa Monica for an audition, and you said, if you ever send me to another audition like that, I'll fucking fire you.
Yeah, because
that was your words. You said those exact words, and I was like, oh, well, please send me to Santa Monica. I'll go there.
I honestly really feel bad for people who go to cattle calls all day. Like, that is fucking torture.
It's fucking terrible.
I did a movie for Lionsgate. I did a feature film that I started, and the only reason I did it was because they called me and said, "We have a role for you. Do you want it?"
Yeah.
But I've been around. I've seen people who do like cattle calls. And I just think to myself, I would never do one of those in my life.
No, they feel horrible. You feel horrible. I mean, you really have to get in the mindset, and I think it helps if you've booked one. Then it feels. Then you're like, well, maybe I'll book one.
One out of 10, 1 out of 20, I'll get.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. But that was like, it's crazy, man. That's so stupid.
So some of the other big projects I'm looking at. Well, maybe not the big project, but I got to giggle at the Ricky Lake show.
Oh God, dude! I did one episode. I did an episode of this show. Holy shit, man! It was a nightmare. It was a little bit of a nightmare gig.
I mean, she was amazing in Crybaby with Johnny Depp. That's all I know.
They had me on the show because they were talking about like weight loss stories, and it was right after I had lost a bunch of weight. So Erik, this trainer, came with me to the show, and I went up and I talked and I told funny stories about losing weight and eating food and shit.
Yeah,
she was really fat, so she was into having me on the show. She used to be really fat, so she was into it.
Did you see her in Crybaby with Johnny Depp? Johnny Depp's first movie.
Oh yeah, sure.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah,
dude. When you get cast like on shows like that, and you're the guy who used to be fat, lost a lot of weight, is that like irritating? I mean, I know you're getting paid.
I kind of use it. The way that I am is I just like doing shit, so I'll take any opportunity to have fun.
You're getting paid, so at the end of the day, you win.
Yeah, like I had a good time. Like here's the reason why I did it.
But it's like, okay, we're gonna have this guy on the show. He was really fat, and now he lost weight. So
yeah, like it feels weird. It feels a little weird, but it was like one of those things. Like I did Cupcake Wars, which is a Food Network show where you eat fucking cupcakes all day. I was like, why wouldn't you want to do that show? Like, that sounds like an awesome gig.
I do the show. Fuck,
hell yeah, man. Like, what's so funny is I did both those gigs within the same like 2 months. So I was like, I'm losing weight. I'm eating healthy. And then it's like 1 month later, I'm like, eating cupcakes.
So
it's like
funny.
So stupid.
You should have called Ricky Lake back and been like, I fell off the wagon. I'm fat again.
I'm here to talk about cupcakes, Ricky.
Does that mean I'm like too emo if I think of that when I think of you being cashed out? Or like you know those like movies where like the guy in the movie gets drunk and fucks a fat girl or an ugly girl?
Sure.
And I'm like weird. I like think to myself like that poor actress. Like she got cast as the ugly girl that he fucked when he was wasted. I wonder if that like fucks with your psyche. Like
look, here's the thing is,
sure, a little bit.
They can't be like, okay, so
it can't feel good.
The part you're gonna read for today is the ugly girl that gets fucked when the star is wasted. Cool.
Oh yeah.
And then he hates you after.
Yeah, like I feel bad for the actresses who do that shit.
Dude, back in the day, like we're talking way back in the day, I went to an audition and the role I was auditioning for was ugly fat guy. That was like a real thing.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm saying.
And I'm sitting there in the waiting room. I'm like, my fucking life is garbage. Like this is what I'm fucking doing with my life. Like, what a fucking horrible thing. And then I look around the room and everybody else in the room has got easily 100 to 200 pounds on me. They're massive fucking dudes. And the guy that they called next, he fucking gets up and he can't breathe. He's like, he's walking with a cane across the room. His fucking ankle snaps under the weight. Like he's a fucking monster. And I was like, I didn't get, when I went in for the part, they were like, no, you're not getting this part. You're not
nearly as big as the last dude.
Yeah, we need something much bigger than this. And it was like, I can't imagine being cast as like something fucking horrible. Like I feel like that would, you got to have some, I don't know, man. There's people who get cast as like the ugly nerd.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, God, that cat's got to hurt your feelings.
Over and over.
It's
and
funny
because
I'm a dick in general, but I sometimes think of like weird things. I feel sorry for people. But anyways, let's change gears. What are you up to now? I know you have something to go to tonight, but where can people check you out? How can people find you now?
Absolutely, man. So I've got a podcast called The Nighttime Show. It's a weird kind of late night show podcast. We interview a lot of weird people.
Are you on a podcast network?
Yeah, I'm on Sideshow Network. Do you know those guys?
I don't, but I'm learning about that world.
It's kind of neat. I mean,
because this is now after it airs on radio, we're a podcast.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. You guys have such a great setup here, and it's a badass place to be. You guys are literally, I live like half a mile, like up the hill away.
Party at your house after.
Come on over.
Party in your pants after.
You better believe it.
So how do people find you? You have your podcast?
You can check out the iTunes podcast. If you're in Los Angeles, California, you want to come out to the nighttime show. The live show is next one's August 27th.
So you do a live podcast?
I do. That's just the live show. Like we do a live stand-up show where I host it, and then we have comedians come on and perform. We've had fucking Dane Cook and Tom Segura and
I wish I could be funny.
Seriously.
You are funny.
No, see, but I'm funny when I'm not trying to be. But here, here's the thing. So
Sure.
I've been hosting TV shows since I was 18 years old. I've hosted some of the biggest. I hosted Wide World of Sports, one of the
my
biggest
God.
shows ever. I'll tell you what thing. I had to get up on stage at a comedy club and just do like 3 minutes, and I was fucking terrified. And I've been on TV for millions of people. I've announced live in front of tens of thousands of people, close to 100,000 people, but in front of 50 people at a comedy club, I was fucking terrified.
That's not crazy.
Was he the-
It's a different animal.
Yeah,
It's a different
the
animal.
thing with me
American
is
animal.
I would think I was good and I would suck. I'd be like, oh, I'm not nervous, but then I would just eat dog shit.
No. I had to get on stage at a comedy club once, and it was fucking horrifying.
Oh my God. Well, you could, yeah. You know, it's a tricky business. I love stand up. I
Hey,
try to do it as often as I possibly can.
I
but
have huge respect for the guys that are able to get up there. And like I said, it's a weird, culty, tough thing to do. And if people can make it in a world of being a comic, I got a lot of respect for you.
Well, I appreciate that, man. That's very cool.
Hey, well, thanks very much
Yeah.
to Stephen Glickman. We
Thank
know
you.
you get off to your show right now.
You bet.
Ian McCall and Erik Apple hanging out here at Dash Radio Studios, also on the Lineup Media Group Podcast Network. Hey, listeners, Erik Apple from American Animals, and today's podcast is brought to you by Amazon. It's really easy to support American Animals. Before you shop at Amazon, and we know you all do it, go to our website. That's the number 2, AmericanAnimals.com, and click on the Amazon banner on the homepage. It's that easy. Remember, that's 2AmericanAnimals.com, and click the Amazon banner before you shop. That's Uncle Creepy. I'm Bad Apple, hanging out at American Animals. And that, before we forget, check out www.2AmericanAnimals.com. Check out at 2AmericanAnimals on Instagram and Twitter, and find our Facebook page, 2American That was a lot of work.
That was, man. And tonight, I should say, our second guest of the evening is my mind coach, Vinny Shoreman. He's a man of mystery. He has really has changed my outlook on life as a whole, but also not only just a mind coach, but you're a commentator for Yakao, for Fusion, for high-level kickboxing in other parts of the world. And I'm really excited to have him here in the U.S., to show not only, just to fucking hang out with him because he's my friend, but to kind of help you show the world how good you are at what you're doing and how it's affected someone like me who really genuinely needed the help.
Hey, if there's anyone in the world who needs help,
Yes.
that's the guy.
It's just, sounds like I've paid you, doesn't it, that? You love the way, thanks for the intro, it was amazing.
course.
Yeah.
I'm very flattered, thank you very much. You're an easy person to work with. You listen, you do what you're told. And it's not really that difficult. I just point you in the right direction, you take the steps, and I just clap and take all the glory.
So, Vinny, now, obviously, Ian's very familiar with you. I'm not. So I'm going to ask dumb questions that the average person at home might be asking. So the first thing I'm going to ask is, what is a mind coach? Now, does that mean you're a psychologist, a psychiatrist, none of the above?
No, none of the above. I studied neurolinguistic programming, NLP. So a lot of people are familiar with, I'm sure. Hypnosis, timeline therapy, quite a few different things to do with language and to do with, covert hypnosis and etc. And
Covert hypnosis? So you're hypnotizing people who don't know they're being
I've already
hypnotized?
hypnotized you twice already.
Get out of here.
I'm only joking.
Check your pants.
Wait, so
Check your wallet.
I hate to be a smart ass, but I am. So I'm going to be me.
What's wrong with that?
I'm one of those people who is it weird that I don't feel like I could be hypnotized?
Loads of people say that. It's interesting. We did a podcast the other day with Ian, Story Time with Uncle Creepy, and TJ said the same. Yeah, there is. Yeah, if you don't want to be hypnotized, it's not against your will.
So is it mostly okay? But what if I was like this? I'm willing to try.
Okay.
But I just think it'd be hard or nearly impossible to hypnotize me. Do I ruin it with that frame of thought?
Well, yeah. No point, is there?
I would like to. I would like to be. I think it'd be cool.
To be honest, if you was in the right situation, you wanted to get hypnotized, yes, you would be, because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, you follow the instruction that the hypnotherapist gives you. There's no it's not mind control.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, it's not swinging of a pendulum and
Yeah.
look into my eyes. That's the deepest I've ever sounded ever in my life. And
It's kind of sexy.
Yeah, thank you very much. So no, it's not. It's totally up to you, really. You either get hypnotized or you don't. And people come to me to get hypnotized, and so that's what you do.
So I'm checking out VinnyShoreman.com where people can find some information, and that's VINNYSHOREMAN.com. And I'm seeing some of the first things I see: hypnosis practitioner and masters, advanced language practitioner. So do you speak multiple languages? Are you are you a linguist?
It's a mind. It's the language of the mind. It's basically. See, I went on the Joe Rogan Experience, and a lot of people know me for hypnosis. But what I do is more to do with language. It's to do with you. People think that they're just talking about something, but I kind of get behind the scenes of what they're actually saying and change the language and change the perception of what they think about themselves, basically,
And I've seen gambling and self-confidence issues. Now, is there a reason those two are grouped together?
Gambling, in my experience, the gambling's more about the feeling more than the money.
Well, I see, but I'm saying I see gambling and self-confidence issues in the same line. Are those two things grouped together on purpose?
Because no, my website's shit.
Because I was going to say, are you trying to say that people who gamble have bad self-confidence?
Yeah, no, I don't. I didn't put the website together, so thanks for that. No,
Speaking
I don't
of
look
gambling,
at it.
I made $600 today on baseball. I hit a 6-team parlay.
I don't even know what that means.
So I bet all 6 teams have to win for me to win, and I won.
Well, I can only afford to gamble with my life, so I don't.
Oh,
like
God.
Oh.
He just ruined the whole thing. Thanks.
That's it. Bye.
So, okay, and the last thing I see smoking, drug, and food addiction. So, do you use hypnosis to help with that, or is that just one of it?
Yeah, it's just hypnosis is just one of the facets. There's many different things, and just because of Joe Rogan went on the Joe Rogan Experience, and he wanted to experience hypnotism. I hypnotized Joe, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, it's more to do with language. It's more mind coaching. It's more finding out what's going on.
So how did you get involved with combat sports athletes? Was that something you grew up involved with already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I trained world champions in Muay Thai as well. I competed in Muay Thai, not to a very high level.
So you're a Thai boxing coach?
Indeed.
Oh, I like this guy.
Yeah, I used to be. And I've trained world champions, as I said. And then I got to a point where I'd done everything I wanted to do, seen what differences mind coaching did for me personally at a personal level, and then just knew that it transpired into helping other people out, and I got a massive rush out of it. I love it.
So did you study NLP before you were?
No. No, but one of the things I was known for was very good at motivating people.
Yeah,
I had an ability to motivate people to do well in fights, and then from that, I just kind of
I love that.
spiraled
And
on.
my girlfriend will tell you, I mean, one of my favorite things is watching Freddie, not Freddie. What's the guy who was coaching Bradley?
Teddy Atlas.
The fireman.
We're
That was
firemen.
fucking
We're
incredible.
firemen. Yeah.
You see, the
gotta go
fire's
to the
coming.
fire. You
Are we
gotta go.
afraid? We're firemen. I watched that. I watched it 100 times. I think it's
Didn't work
great.
against Pacquiao though, did it?
Well,
We're firemen.
I mean, he did.
We were
He's got a
firemen.
hose.
Well, to be honest, I mean, he did. I thought he did better the second time than he did the first time.
He did, but
Even though they gave him the decision the
It
first time.
was the third time. They fought 3 times, didn't they? Pacquiao and Bradley fought 3 times. It's the third time.
I pretty much believe Bob Arum arranged that whole first fight.
Yeah.
With Pacquiao
because he
losing.
just wanted to shit on Pacquiao.
You know what I was just thinking too?
He got so
Hey,
much shit.
you know what I was just
Bradley
thinking?
for that.
If Nate Diaz had any brains, he would just lose his next fight because then he gets a third.
Yeah.
This is true, but I don't think Nate gives a fuck. He's gonna make. He's making $10 million.
No, he's not making that.
That's
much this fight.
from fucking what I hear. Making $10 million flat to show up and beat up Conor McGregor again.
I mean, if he has any brains, he'll lose because then he'll get a rubber match. I would fucking
I don't
do
think he thinks of losing. He's not gonna.
Yeah.
He wants to beat him up, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe.
He wants to beat him up.
I don't know.
And $10 million goes a long way in
Well, it
Stockton.
depends on what his contract looks like. If his contract says if you win, if you beat Conor, you're still making a big amount whoever you fight next. Okay, then cool. He doesn't care. But if he only makes that kind of money for fighting Conor, why would you not want to have a third fight with Conor?
Makes sense.
We got off topic. Sorry.
It makes sense.
So let's go back to Vinny. So Vinny, so I'm super interested in this. So wait, so you were coaching Thai boxers.
Yep.
And you Thai box yourself.
Yep.
And then you decided to study NLP yourself because you're a great motivator.
No, I started to do NLP because I was taking lots of dancing powder and being a dick. I'd split up with my girlfriend at the time, who had children with. My head went.
What's it?
My head fell off.
Oh,
it's an English term.
Dancing powder is blow?
Yes.
Nazi dancing powder.
Yeah, Bolivia.
Nazi. Why is it? No, I was.
Why Nazi?
That's what it's always been called. Though. Yeah, I don't know.
Bolivian
Nazi.
dancing powder.
Bolivia.
Baby.
I don't
No,
know.
I
I'm
never
just
heard.
saying.
I never heard dancing powder. I've always heard marching powder.
Yeah, marching powder. There is that, but I didn't march. I danced, and it's one of those things.
Are you from-
badly? Badly.
Are you from Birmingham or where are you
No,
from?
I'm from Manchester.
I was just gonna say Manchester's the next thing.
Yeah.
That's why honestly, I was gonna say Manchester. I couldn't think of it, but it seems like everyone I meet from England is from Manchester.
They are.
Or does everyone just want to say they're from Manchester even when they're
I
not?
think because the north is like the cool place to be now, isn't it? You know, with the Game of Thrones being from the north.
You northern monkeys.
Northern
Southern
monkeys. That's the one.
fairies.
So I split up with the thingy. It wasn't a bad thing, to be honest. But at the time, I was messed up, did things, blah, blah, blah. And then I just went to a seminar by a guy called Keith Mayer. I felt good. I didn't know why. And then I asked him, and then I hounded him. And then he said, you know, it's a very difficult job. And as soon as he said that, that made me even want to do it even more. And then that was it, really. Started studying courses and enjoying it and doing what I do, you know.
So where are you working and practicing now?
From home.
But where's that? Where's home?
Liverpool.
Okay.
Yeah. I
So-
lived there with my wife.
Most of the stuff, most of the stuff we do is over FaceTime. You know, this is how I got in touch with him was through Joe Schilling.
Uh-huh.
Now I heard Joe Schilling on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yep.
And it was right after I lost to John Lineker. I was in a funk mentally. I lost that fight because of mental lapses, and then Joe spoke so highly of you and all this stuff, and then he said, "Oh, and he can FaceTime me, or he can hypnotize me over FaceTime." And I went, "No, you're full of shit." Okay. Give me the phone number. So I started talking to him, and next thing I know, I was I was hypnotized over FaceTime.
That's awesome.
And you know, and now we've spent, you know, we've been here twice since we've been working together, and it's the you know, the way that he knows me. It's interesting because you know we live so far away, but I'll have a shitty day, and he'll text me what's wrong, and I'm like. And of course, I'm just right away. I just tell him, "Well, fucking, yeah, this happened or this happened," and he just walks me through it, or FaceTime we go through it, and I gotta love technology because if he didn't live in you know right by my house, I wouldn't be working with him, you know. But we have FaceTime, we have cell phones that work incredibly well. So
we know what you meant, even though that didn't come out right.
no, it didn't.
Ian has a tough time expressing himself. So
Duh.
use your words, Ian.
Yes,
Use your words.
sorry.
And just so you know, it's partially my fault.
It's all right.
I dropped
So-
him. I dropped him on his head a lot as a child.
But the thing is, I mean, look, listen, it's all about language. You know, a lot of people get hung up on the hypnosis thing. It's all about language. People come to me now and they do I do a thing called 4 weeks to freedom where they do 4 weeks, 2 sessions a week for 4 weeks. And they just think that they're going to be hypnotized and all of a sudden life changes. It doesn't. It's up to you. And all I do is walk you through it, like Ian said, point you in the right direction, the path you've got to walk. I know it sounds cliche and cheesy, but it's true. They've got to walk the path to do it.
we rarely do hypnosis stuff. It's all other. I mean, and we fix.
Tell me about some other things, exercises you guys do.
I reframe stuff. So he can be saying that this, and this, and then I can say, well, what about that, and that?
So wait, so you'll ask him like, how do you feel about something that already happened, or something that's happening or going to happen?
Well, people explain the situation, and I see it different. It's called Cartesian logic. You think kind of outside the box. So instead of like when people telling you something, you don't hear what they're saying. You hear what's behind it. It's dead hard to explain.
Yeah.
It is, honestly, it's quite hard to explain, really. I think it's just something that, I don't want to sound like egotistical, but it's just something that I'm good at.
Yeah,
You know
sure.
what I mean? It's like yourself, you know, you can pick up a microphone, you can, you know, and keep audiences entertained, drag them in. I think it's as a gift, but it's just something that if you either love it or you don't, and I love it.
Well, what's impressive to me and interesting to me is that it's something that this wasn't 20 years ago, you never thought this is what you'd be doing.
No.
I mean, it seems
No.
like this is something you picked up later in life and you excelled at it.
Yeah, I think so. But I've always been good at talking to people. I've always had I could talk. My mum said, God rest her good. I could talk when I was very, very young, quickly. So I picked up language very quick. But I just read between the lines. You know, and you get to do that of experience. It's like, I'm in my 9th year of doing this now. So, you know, you gain experience and you gain an understanding of everybody pretty much wants the same thing, really, in life. You know what I mean? Everybody wants the same thing.
Sex and money and power?
That's right, all of it. I guarantee everyone listening can have it.
I mean,
me.
Isn't that pretty much what humans want? We want to have sex and reproduce, and we want to have power.
It's not everyone.
Isn't that like the primeval, like just nature in every person?
Not in everyone. No, I don't. It'd be can't paint everyone with the same brush.
Oh, okay, fine. Damn it.
Sorry.
Not everyone's like that.
So tell me about the gym. You still work at the gym at home?
No.
No, you don't.
Nope.
So do you work with specific fighters at home on a regular basis?
I work with people. I don't just work with fighters. I work with everybody.
Okay.
From fighters to anyone, everybody, every walk of life.
And do you, when you work with combat sports athletes, do you do the same type of exercises and treatment that you would to a regular person?
No.
So it's different.
No, everybody's different. So you don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do with the client until I think where they're actually going and what they actually want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's different. Everyone's got different sort of. You have to tweak people.
Yeah.
You know, some people need more tweaking than others, but you have to tweak them.
Now, can people do like what Ian's doing and work with you, overseas?
Yeah.
So you do a lot of work on FaceTime and stuff.
Yeah, for Australia, everywhere.
I guess it doesn't matter where it is.
No, it doesn't. Not now. The world's very small, isn't it? Because,
sure is.
You know, we've got FaceTime and Skype and all sorts of stuff like that. You know.
That's amazing. So, Ian,
Yes.
tell me on your side, like what are the differences and the improvements that you've felt since you've been with Vinny?
Now, even up to probably 4 months ago, as you know, I was at the point where I didn't even know if I was ever going to fight again.
Yep.
I kind of called it quits, and I hadn't announced it yet. But with that said, we had fixed everything else in my life. You know, my life was running way more smooth because, like you said, linguistics, the things that I say about myself or the actions or all this different stuff, yeah, we changed that, and we changed the way that I think through, I'm sure, multiple ways. But, it turned me into a better coach. I'm guessing a better boyfriend, a better father, that's for sure. Because I catch myself telling my daughter stories. I'm always reading her a book or whatever. But when I do these type of things, everything's more detailed. There's more passion behind it, and there's a purpose behind the things that I say and when I say them and why I say them. So it's just really changed my life. And now, especially going out to Atlanta. I go out there and I see a bunch of people I already knew, all the UFC people, media people, other coaches, and everyone, the first thing they said was, "You're different. Like, you're different in a really good way. Your aura, your energy, everything seems fucking great, man. What happened?" And I just said, "Well, I've just changed things. I have help from him to change me on a level that." I guess I never really thought about changing it this way, or I thought I was stuck being this person, speaking this way about myself or about others, or thinking, certain things, and being able to change that through, I guess it would be habitual, and to change it and make the habits better. It's made my life, a million times different and better, and I see things differently. And like I said, go to Atlanta and you see there's one specific guy from Knockout Radio where he was like, "Man, your energy is just through the roof." He's like, you're and for me at fight week, I'm always relaxed. I don't care. It's just a fight. But it was just the happy and the smiling and the different. I'm not fighting out of anger anymore. That was a place I always fought out of, was from anger, because I thought that was good fuel. But that gets me in trouble. You see my career so far in the past, every time I get angry, every time I get emotional, I fuck up my fights.
Makes you clumsy.
It makes me clumsy, exactly. And now it's just all about precision. I look to get constantly in a zone that is just mechanical. It is just the craft that I pounded on, the drills I've done for my whole life. And I just get in a nice flow state, and then life seems to be better. And that's applicable to any part of it. whether it's my daily routine for being a dad or being a fighter or being a boy, like I said, a boyfriend or
A show host?
a show host, everything works better, and it's all in sync. And it's just I mean I can't thank him more. I can't thank him enough because it's made my life a fucking lot better.
Well, that's what the reward is for me.
Yeah.
I mean, how awesome is it for me? I mean, I'm from Manchester. I come from. My dad was a registered psychopath. All that. I didn't have a great life. I'm not pretending I had the hardest one, but I didn't have a great time. I'm in Hollywood with a UFC star, just second to a guy that's just done a movie with Jennifer Aniston, sat in a studio in Hollywood. I mean, come on, really? It's a reward or not, and to hear such nice things said, it makes me. It just gives me that extra lift to know what I'm doing is correct. When you're really in tune with what you're doing, and you feel it, you know it, and that's what I get from my job.
It's pretty special when you get to make your living and you get to your existence is about helping others achieve more.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, but there's a lot to be said for me mixing with the clients, because I can be talking to a client and I could be talking to you, and because I talk to myself a hell of a lot, you'll understand that. You talk to yourself more
Constantly
mentally than you would when you were before you was doing any of this. But you did timeline therapy recently, and what I notice is with timeline therapy, everyone else notices what you start. So now you've done timeline, now you understand that people see it, and you say you're different.
Yeah.
And you say, yeah, I am. I feel different. When you start feeling different, understanding different, people buy into that because they can actually read who you are. They can read who you are via just knowing. You know what I mean?
Can we explain timeline therapy for people at home?
Timeline therapy is a system. It was devised by a very, very highly skilled guy called Tad James. My teacher, Colin Mackay, worked directly with Tad James, and I'm a descendant of Colin, if you will. And he's trained me in timeline therapy and stuff. And what timeline therapy is you deal with 5 emotions: sadness, anger, fear, hurt, and guilt. And it's an imaginary system where you go back in your life to like time travel in a way. Really, it's kind of like you could argue whether you do or you don't, but nevertheless, it works. So you go back to a time where you felt the emotion of anger, the very first time when you felt that emotion, whether it be the very first time you actually felt it or a time that your unconscious mind picks, and you go back to it, and we undo it.
I mean, I'm sold. I'm listening.
We
undo
it. We undo it, and you get an understanding from it.
So you undo.
What did you think? I mean, explain it.
Well, let's be. People don't. I mean, I don't understand when you say undo it.
What happens is, say you have a situation in your life. So you have what your unconscious mind will do. So say it's before the age of 7, for instance. What that does is it's the imprint period. So before you're consciously aware, you don't actually know. I mean, let's face it. I don't mean to upset any of the viewers, but Santa Claus doesn't exist. But when you're young, he does. Mm-hmm. So what happens is you have that belief, right? So when you have that belief when you're so young or whatever, this is just an example. If there's a negative time in your life, you may hold on to that for protection. Your unconscious mind will keep that for protection and say, well, fuck that, that's not happening again. I'll keep hold of it. Now, it might be unwarranted later on in life, so it can direct certain emotions.
So I'm sorry. So
no problem.
So you are saying that your mind will hold on to a negative experience to prevent you from going through that experience again?
Yeah, for protection. So have you ever met someone that's gone fucking mad over something? You're like, what's wrong with you? Relax. It's
all
nothing.
day.
Exactly, and that's just sometimes it's an unconscious reaction. If you've seen the movie Limitless,
yep,
where Bradley Cooper first takes the pill, and and the Chinese woman's going crazy at him, and then he listens to her and listens to her and listens to her, and then she just offloads all the nonsense, and then it comes back to something else that's nothing to do with him. That's a bit like that. It's all like there's loads of screaming and shouting around it, but it's nothing to do with you. It's that problem. So you not eradicate it, but you learn to
navigate through it.
Yeah, thank
Weed
you.
through it.
You can take my job. So yeah, you navigate through it, and you had that experience, didn't you, of timeline and stuff?
Yeah, and it happens. It happened before and especially after it. Just dealing with certain things. it's just I'm able to navigate those things a lot easier. Stressful situations, things that would have bothered me before, made me blow up. I've known you most of my life. I always had that in me where I would just snap and freak out and stuff, and that hasn't happened in fucking a really long time.
I thought you were just being a pussy.
Yeah, where I was being a bitch, but
I'm joking.
It really does and even when I do think of the certain things that we've gone over and fixed, now that I think about them, it's just like, okay, like yeah, that's it. It's not bothering. It doesn't bother me anymore.
Now, can I ask this? And don't be super nice because he's sitting right here. I'm curious to know. Do you think it's more difficult than that? I mean, it's hard to compare people, but is Ian more difficult or easier to change and improve than some of your other people?
Easier.
Really?
Yeah, because he's smart.
Huh.
Because he's smart and he wanted to.
I would think he's. I would think he's. I was hoping you were going to say he's more fucked up.
No.
Because I feel like we're pretty fucked up.
No, but see, to come to a point where he wasn't anyway. I mean, people come in and they come to my house or they phone me on FaceTime and Skype and they make out that this in this terrible place, and you go, really?
I mean, I've seen him do some pretty weird, horrible shit. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but
maybe you don't know the real Ian.
Well, it's irrespective to me now, isn't it? I only know this. I only know this version. But it's like, it's genuinely, the problems that people have most of the time, they're not as bad as you actually think.
Well, I mean, see, I'm a very, very serious believer and firm believer that everything in life is relative.
Yeah.
So to Paris Hilton, who was born a multimillionaire and will never have less than millions of dollars in her bank, her breaking a nail is the worst thing that happens in her day.
Yeah.
But life is relative, and to her, that's absolutely fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Where you look on the other side of the spectrum, you see a homeless child in India, and they can barely feed themselves, and they're 12 years old, living at train stations collecting bottles for money, and that's all they have to live. But like to that kid, that's normal. That's relative.
Yep.
So I really believe that life is relative. Like whatever your life is, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Now, to someone else who's living the dream life, that looks horrible. But to that kid, that's his everyday life. It's not that big of a deal.
That's normality. Now, as he said, I went out of my way to find him. I wanted the help. I wanted to change. I was a complete open book, and I still am. Just a complete open book to him. And I was like, dude, I please show me how to fix this. And he did. And he showed me how to fix myself, through certain things, and it worked. And I can't, sit on a soapbox enough and scream about it because it definitely helped me. And even if I never fought again, it just made me a better person. It made me, like I said, the biggest thing in my life is being a dad.
Yeah.
Okay, it made me a better and more understanding father, and that's a fucking big deal.
Well, I mean, it sounds like such a cliche, but I mean, fighting, if you can be successful and fight well, you can live well. I mean, fighting is life, right? Yeah. It's representative of your life, right?
But it's just the thing is with me. I think that's the reason why, with fighters especially, is they don't really, it's all fuck it, and no, I'm not bothered. Can lift more than him, and how many girls you've fucked, and blah blah blah, and how much you can walk, and this how good you look. And then when you're on your own,
are you from Data Point?
Might be. When you're on your own, when you're actually on your own, and you've got no one clapping for you, and you've got all them people, right? That's when your demons start knocking. Hello. That's where I come in.
You just wanted to do deep voice again.
I did. I did. It just wanted
it.
to sound like a proper man. But and I just think that's where I come in. Is like because the actual demons are you anyway. It's just teaching people just to get around them, learn about things, and change them. Change the whole perspective.
Yep. Vinny Shoreman is hanging out with us here at American Animals. Erik Apple, Ian McCall. We are here in Hollywood, our favorite place to be on Wednesday nights. And we have learned a lot already from Vinny about the improvements and the help that he has brought to Ian's fighting career and his life in general. We've also been checking out Vinny's website, vinnyshoreman.com. And he lives in Liverpool, which is near Manchester, and he can help you over online through FaceTime or anything like that. And now, Vinny, we're going to go through an exercise with you.
Yep. We're going to go for an exercise. If you are driving and you are operating any heavy machinery or anything, please don't while you're listening to this. I can't stress that enough. It's So what we're going to do is just going to learn to withdraw. Because what happens is we get a lot of chaos in our minds. You know, we're overstimulated, basically. And this is from a lady called Dolores Ashcroft Nowitzki, and I went to her seminar. So I've stole this. It's not my actual little technique, but I have stole it. What the technique does is it just gives your mind a little bit of space. There's too much going on. We have too much going on. Like I said, you know, I'm saying this on this podcast, but I've said on podcasts previously that people are scared of silence. It's very difficult for people to handle silence. Like it's too quiet, and the quietness becomes really loud to people. So you can either do it with your eyes open or your eyes closed. I would do it with my eyes closed. The reason why I do it with my eyes closed is it takes out one of the sensory awarenesses. It's sight. So
Okay, and Ian, we're gonna close our eyes, just like So I'm gonna close my eyes. I'm turning off my mic.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Okay.
And I'm gonna sit here and go through.
But
with
like
you
I
guys.
said, can you tell them just to listen that do not drive while you're doing this, please?
So whatever you
Seriously,
do,
guys,
don't be listening in your car.
Yeah.
Even though the show is on right when people are driving home from work.
You can save it. You can save it if you're having a stressful day, if you're having a stressful whatever time in your life.
Go on Lineup Media Group and you can find the podcast.
Yes, please. Do it safely. Okay.
So take it away.
So what you do is I want you to just close your eyes for a moment, and I want you to imagine that you're in a room. And when you're in this room, I want you to imagine that in front of you there's a large window. I want you to make your way towards that window. I want you to notice also that the window is slightly open. When you look outside the window, there's a bunch of traffic. Bumper to bumper, cars, frustration and annoyance, as traffic jams do, causing all them problems. You can see the frustrations in the people's faces. It may be a very hot day where they're frustrated and the windows are down and they're looking out trying to see if the traffic is moving. And also I want you to notice that there's a lady and a gentleman arguing in the street, really, really screaming and shouting at each other in the street. There's also a bunch of school children coming back from school on the bus, and they're getting off the bus and they're making lots of noise. There's also a big dog in the garden in one of the houses that's near the traffic jam, and the dog is barking and running around and jumping up at the fence. I want you to notice also that the next door neighbours have got their window open and they're blaring out really, really loud, annoying music. And I want you to notice what you notice and feel what you feel. Now I want you to start moving backwards, away from the window, further and further and further away. And as you walk back further and further slowly, the window is smaller and smaller. And as you move really way back from the window now, that's right, just moving way back from the window, making that window in the distance. I want you to go out of that room and close the door. And just allow yourself just to be for a moment, quieting down that chitter chatter that can go on inside your mind. And allow that just to be quiet for a moment. And that's all you do, is move away from the chaos that's going on inside the picture, to move further away. So all you do, you imagine that you're in a room, establish what room, whether it has carpet, whether it has wooden floors, whether it's whatever colour you decide. Go towards the window, a large window, make sure the window's open, and then just with traffic, a man and woman arguing, a dog, a bunch of school children, music blaring, you could have jets flying across or a helicopter or whatever. You could have bees or wasps or whatever's causing you problems. So you could use anything. So if there's a frustration of a certain person, you could turn this person into, say, a dog or a bird or something that's annoying, and put it outside the window and withdraw yourself. And what happens is when you're withdrawing yourself, they're called submodalities. There's things that just sort of, think of it like an app on a phone. You know how like an iPhone and you've got an app going on. It's just switching your apps off, basically. switching your apps off and saving the battery with inside your mind. So you can just withdraw from the room, close the door, and then you can allow yourself, if you want to just meditate or you want to just allow yourself to relax, and that's what you do. Just move the stuff out of the way before you sit down and relax. Truthfully. That makes sense?
Yeah.
That makes sense to you, yeah?
It's always worked for me.
Yeah, good.
So the exercise we went through is just, I mean, it's a self-calming technique that just take out
Yes.
all the chatter out of your life and
Yeah.
all the distractions.
Well, your frustration is whatever it is, because if it's a traffic jam, what you interpret as a traffic jam or whatever you call it, I don't know what you call it.
it just represents something else.
Represents something, yeah, and it represents something to you. So you might not get frustrated in traffic jams, but when a man or woman screaming and shouting, that could be whatever it means to you. And just basically, it's things that would generic would be annoying.
There's a
and you
lot.
just-
There's a lot of screaming in my life.
Well, I could tell. I can tell.
Don't let her fool you.
I can tell.
She's so nice.
She's always screaming. That's
Little yum yum over there.
yum yum.
Dragon lady.
Whoa, what do you got going over there?
Pudding.
Oh wow.
See, my meals are made for
You
me.
cannot be eating pudding.
These are made by my nutritionist and company. It's cookie butter and dark chocolate protein pudding. Fucking delicious.
Okay.
M120 meals.
And
Get
they're
that
only
shit in-
little as well.
Get that shit in your face.
They're only small as well. Come on.
USADA came around, started drug testing everybody, and all of a sudden everybody's got dad bods. Okay? I'm fucking shredded still. You know why? Because I eat good food. I work my ass off. Because I wasn't on steroids, sorry.
So funny. So the exercise we just went through, like I said, we're talking about calming the mind,
Yep.
calming all the chitter
Yep.
chatter, and it's representative of whatever the problems you have in your life or whatever's distracting you from your from
I
your
mean,
goals or from.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the one technique.
Yeah, sure.
That people can use. There's loads and loads of different ones, and it's just about allowing people just to move back a little bit and just give yourself a little bit of space.
So
Because
Vinny,
people don't have that really.
I want to turn this around a little bit. Now we can talk about all the people you work with all the time, but tell me more about what you've learned about yourself and what you're still learning about yourself.
Do you know what I've learned about myself that's going to sound like really? I don't care what it sounds like. I've learned I'm smart.
Sounds like a box opening?
Pardon?
Sounds like a box opening?
Yes.
Hey, give me peace now. Here, you keep talking. Now they can feed me. Go ahead.
What
keep
I've
talking.
learned about myself is I'm a lot more smarter than I give myself credit for.
Well, you just said more smarter. So I
more
don't know about-
smarter. No, but that, and that's the thing. It's like it's for me, it's more like I understand more about not being so derogatory towards myself. A lot of people are just off the cuff derogatory towards themselves, and it's fun, and they still do it, of course. I don't pretend to walk on water or anything, but I think that people are so busy kicking the shit out of themselves that they don't really need to, because it's not, like fighters will put themselves down all the time and then expect when the back's against the wall for the mind to help them out. Well, you've been kicking the shit out of your mind for the last 40 years or whatever, you know what I mean? So
when you're not giving yourself any positive reinforcement, why should it come through for you?
But that's what people do. People just, I'm stupid and there was shit and blah blah blah, and then you just say, okay, instead of like adding language that will get you to where you want to get, you dig in your own grave. And that's what I've learned from me, is just to not beat the shit out of myself so much.
To be I was always so self-deprecating.
Well,
even in a joking manner, which I still do sometimes, but I changed that.
I feel like, I don't know if just from the group of people that we grew up with, the kids, like we all kind of like would make fun of everyone else, but we make fun of ourselves just as much. Like a lot of people would be like, oh, you always make fun of everyone. I go, well, I make fun of myself just as much.
But there's a difference. There's a difference between making fun of yourself and really going to town on yourself that people just do off the cuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like just come out of nowhere. I mean, of course you got to have fun and ripping the piss out, breaking each other's balls, they say in America or whatever. I watch loads of gangster films and that. But it's just like that. It's just, for me, some Italian for some reason all of a sudden. But it's for me, it's just that, yes, there is fun. And of course you have comedy. But it's like ripping yourself apart, just undermining yourself. And you're basically creating a life that is pretty shit. You know what I mean?
So are you recommending that people need to give themselves more credit, or is that just specifically for yourself?
Think about it like this. My teacher told me this story where if you're on a plane and, all of a sudden it starts going down and the oxygen drops and the masks come down, if you could take an oxygen in, the first person you got to give oxygen to is yourself, because at the end of the day, you're useless. You're useless to anybody else. Before you put your mask on, before anybody else's mask goes on. You've got to look after yourself first. You can't look after yourself and be decent to yourself. How can you be decent to anyone else? You're no use. It's nonsense. Then it's not true. It's got no validity, has it? Mm-hmm. It's not valid. So that's what I think, anyway.
Well, we're very different because I think I'm really smart all the time.
No, there's no,
I give myself way too much credit. Trust me.
No, and that's
Can
good.
you fix me? I'm on the other side.
Awesome.
No, that's good.
I think I'm brilliant.
No, and that's the idea. That's what I want. Is if you think you're brilliant and you're brilliant, it's fine. You don't have to tell everyone. You have to wear a T-shirt and start telling everyone you're more brilliant than anybody
I tell her
else.
every day.
And I can tell by her face that she constantly believes it.
Well, I took an IQ test. I went and took an IQ test, and she was just so mad because I keep reminding her of my score all the time. I keep fucking with her. Look at her face.
He found a loophole.
I cheated.
Look how you've already lost. Look at her face.
Oh yeah.
She has ways of making you pay.
Oh yeah. She just ruins my life on a daily basis.
But I think
that's what having a girlfriend is. I thought that's what it's for.
Well,
look at her. I love it. She wants to stab me.
There's a domestic going on.
I love bringing girlfriends to the studio and they don't have a mic. It's so fun. Oh, come on. So, Vinny, so besides just going through your website, do people need to follow you on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat? How do they find out more about you or get more involved with you?
I don't have Snapchat. I have
Facebook, Twitter?
Instagram, Facebook, a website that's really bad.
And is it all?
didn't notice.
And is everything just Vinny Shoreman? VINNYSHOREMAN?
Yes, EMAN. Yeah, it is.
So at Vinny Shoreman?
Yeah. And please, no one offer me a kidney, which someone did.
A kidney?
I shit you not. Someone offered me a kidney. Said,
What about dick pics?
Wait, what do you mean?
No dick pics, thanks.
Wait.
We've had them.
Wait.
Honestly.
Let's back up. They offered you a kidney for what?
For to work with me. He said, I have not got much money, but I will offer you a kidney. I was thinking,
that was
fine.
so fucking. That is so random.
Yeah, it's fine. And another guy that was possessed by a spirit.
Did you need a kidney?
Help. No, but
he just thought you might just need one.
Listen, you can never have too many kidneys.
Hey, a good kidney is worth a lot.
Way they drink in England.
Can you put an extra one in?
I don't know. I would try. That's a genuine thing. Is that someone offered me a kidney?
We have a friend who only has one kidney.
Right.
He got one of his removed. He crashed on his motorcycle and blew his kidney up and had to have it removed. Almost died. Almost bled to death.
It weren't him then. Was it? No, it definitely wasn't him.
You should have got it for him.
Yeah, I should have done. I selfish.
Paid a pretty
Me and my
penny for it.
selfish life.
That is so funny. So real quick before we go, what are your thoughts on the Brexit? I just want to throw something weird at you.
I don't care.
Do you think it doesn't matter that much?
I didn't care. Listen, it's going to make no difference whatsoever with England
Brexit?
Not being in the European Union. I don't know.
Ian's like
I'm never there anyway. Never in England anyway. I'm always doing infusion or commentary or
Morocco or some
and,
awesome
Morocco.
fucking crazy
and tell me about the commentary you do. You do.
I work for Infusion Live and Yokow.
I don't know what that is.
Infusion Live is the best up and coming kickboxers on the planet.
Is it Thai boxing or kickboxing?
It's kickboxing.
It is
No
fucking
elbows and
exciting.
knees?
If you watch the fight between Mohamed Jarrah and Nordin Benmo. It's on YouTube. It is absolutely amazing. It's a breathtaking fight.
And these shows go on all over the world?
Yeah, they go on. Infusion have doing a €200,000 72.5 kilo tournament starting in September 17th, and it's going to be amazing, incredible.
Guys like Jiraiya and stuff are fucking insanely good.
And there's so Infusion Live, and there's another
Yorkow as well, which is Muay Thai, which has Liam Harrison, Jordan Watson, and all the big names. And
now is that also in Europe, or is that actually in Thailand?
no, that's in Europe, but in England, in Bolton. But we've got some Thais coming over. Manachai and Sanchai's been over, and
Okay.
all big time.
Sunshine's one of my favorites.
He's an awesome.
Him and Yodson Clay.
Yeah, Yodson Clyde's good.
I love his kicks. I love he just sits back with his hands down and just throws the same kick 50
left
times.
Left kick, left body punch, left knee, left.
That's all he
elbow,
does.
Left kick, left. Yeah, he's an incredible fighter.
I'm all about the kicks. Ian will tell you I've broken more than one leg with kicks.
Yeah.
Not my own, other people's.
You did split your shin down in Mexico real bad, though. That was funny.
Yeah.
Who did you kick, Ray?
I kicked somebody in the no. I kicked this other he blocked. He put his hand. I kicked him the tip of the elbow.
Yeah.
And I went back to my corner after the first round, and my coach says, "Okay, no more kicks." And that's like my thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What do you mean no more kicks? I can't believe you were there. I guess you were. Yeah. Oh, that's right, you were there." And he goes, "Bro, look at your leg." And I look down and I can just see the bone.
Ugh.
And there was a pretend doctor. This is in Mexico. This is before fighting was legal in California.
Yeah.
He's like a doctor.
It's like a doctor. And the guy looks at me and goes, "Well, it's not bleeding, so if it doesn't hurt, you can keep fighting." I was like, "Yeah, I can't feel it. Keep fighting."
Yeah.
So I just went out, and that's the only time in my life that I went out and did multiple takedowns.
I love kicking.
This is how we fixed it. We just packed the wound full of drugs, and we smuggled his leg across the border.
No, did you ever hear the story about that? So Kami, my manager, he just happens to be an anesthesiologist and has some basic medical skills. So he gave like a semi suture job to my shin and said, "Well, this will hold it together for now until you go to the doctor."
Can we go to a real country?
Yeah, I had to put a couple stitches in my shin and went home. And it's like 2.5 hours till I get back to Orange County. And I went to sleep for a couple hours.
Right.
Well, I partied with some girls, then went to sleep for a couple hours. And then, 8, 9, 10 hours after the fight, I decided to go to the emergency room and got my shit sewn up.
Did it? I've seen loads of shins get infected as well.
Oh, it was terribly infected.
Oh, my goodness.
I had really, really bad staph in there. And it wasn't the stitches, it was like soggy and wet, so it just opened back up.
No.
And then I went back to the doctor a second time, and I was like, "Okay, so the stitches opened up. Like, what are you gonna do?" They go, "Oh, we don't sew it up a second time." I go, "What do you mean?" They go, "If it does that, we have to just let the skin grow from the bottom up." Which I was like, "What?"
Great.
Yeah, it was.
Is it all right now? Could you kick with it anymore?
Oh yeah.
He has a vagina on his leg now, but
Yeah, I know. I kick with it now. It's fine. I mean, if someone checked it right on that spot, it would probably open up, I would guess.
Right.
I've wrapped tape around it once or twice, but in a fight or two, or I have a ankle brace I pull up high enough it comes over it.
I've seen on especially on
Like Peter Ertz had that one too.
on Yorkow, like Liam Harrison. He's the most vicious leg kicker I've ever seen. He blasts people's legs to space.
I love it.
He's awesome.
It's awesome.
He's awesome. Have you seen him, Liam Harrison? Look him up.
I saw him on your website.
Look him up and look up Mohamed Jiraiya and Infusion. You have to look up them guys and just get excited because they're good.
Okay.
very good.
They're very
All
good.
right. Well, hey, American Animals hanging out with Vinny Shoreman. Thanks so much, Vinny, for coming on here.
Thank you.
We are going to be back in just a minute. Okay, American Animals, here we are, and here we go. We're all done. Show number 9 from the Dash Radio Studios here on the Hot Button channel. And if you missed it, you can check it out on the Lineup Media Group Podcast Network or at twoamericananimals.com. Man, Stephen Glickman was funny. He was great, and he's probably
Great guy.
performing just about now
Yep.
over at the Comedy Store.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys can check out his podcast if you remember. It's the Late Night Show.
Yes.
And Vinny Shoreman, thanks so much for hanging out with us as well. I love learning about all kinds of new stuff, and it's definitely great that you're able to teach us that kind of stuff and help as well.
Yeah, thanks. We got on SoundCloud is the Mind Diet. So if you want to find out more about what's going on, we got a little podcast that we put together, me, Andreas, and a guy called Roberto, and we found out what's going on in people's heads, fighters, all sorts, cancer survivors, a lot,
It's great. It's
Find
great.
out what's going on. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming out.
Thank
Thank
you
you for all the
I
help.
mean,
I loved it.
You
Thank
came all the way here from Liverpool just for us.
I walked here.
Did you find the Northern Passage?
Well, it was easy enough, You can levitate like me on a cloud.
You can walk on water, like you said.
Okay.
All right. Well, for Ian McCall and for Vinny Shoreman, I'm Erik Apple. Thanks for checking out
Shoots
us and our show. We love you, and we will see you soon. Check out toamericananimals.com. Later.
This podcast was a presentation of lightupmedia.fm.